Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Hey, Scott, we've got sports again. I know you're excited about that, right? It's sort of sports.
Not
Carolina.
sports, and any type of football is good for me. Even Jets football is good for me, and that's like FCS quality. But no, that's fine with me. How about Jets money line this weekend, right, against the Chiefs?
I don't even know what it is. Last I saw it was like 20 and a half. Oh, the line's come down. That's good.
Chiefs are favored by 20. I'm sure it'll close by like 18. That's a separate story.
You give the Jets 12 plus 1,200?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Okay. Good times there.
I'm not taking it.
Can hardly wait to go over that one. Do you lay the points there?
We'll save that for the other show, but I'm not taking the points with the Jets.
Okay. All right, yeah.
I'd probably look to first half if I really had to guess anything.
Jets are going to jet, man. No question about it. But, hey, we got a great one tonight. It's got a real barn burner from the NFC South.
This game should be closer than that one.
It's the two teams from the NFC South you don't want to see play. It's the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are at home, -2. 51.5 is your total. Not a ton of line movement in this one, Scott. It opened up at 3. It's come down to 2. Opened at 51, gone up to 51.5. So, what do you make of this one? Are you excited?
I'm excited compared to yesterday because there was nothing yesterday. Yesterday was just awful.
Nothing. We did our election show. By the way, if you haven't checked out our election show, make sure you do it.
I had some PTSD from start of COVID where you had no sports on television. It was really kind of surreal. But overall, I'm not going to complain about football. Even if it's a bad game, hopefully it's an entertainingly bad game. And with the spread only being 2, this game should be close. So as long as this game comes down to maybe a one-possession situation in the fourth quarter, I'm not going to be complaining about it. But if Carolina or Atlanta open up a 30-point lead, shocker, I'm not going to make it to the final whistle when it comes to watching the game.
Well, the first big piece of news is that Christian McCaffrey had been eligible to play tonight, but smartly they are going to keep him out.
I think he would have played if the game was on Sunday, but you're not going to bring him in on a short week to play Thursday.
Well, and there's also you're having some problems with the weather. Now, I don't know. It looks like it's probably going to pass by the time the game starts, but there is going to be a little bit of rain in the area, and
I don't think it's going to be Bills-Chiefs bad, but it's supposed to be a little bit of maybe a drizzle or two.
Yeah, well, that was what that was supposed to be too, by the way.
Correct. Yeah,
that was supposed to be light rain with not much of an impact, but they're going to have some wind here. So yeah, I think it's just a good move to keep McCaffrey out of this game. I'm guessing he's not quite ready to go with that. You have a high ankle sprain, right?
Something like that. I know they've been holding him out for a couple of weeks. I know the rehab's taken longer than they wanted to. I still believe, and I think you'd agree, if the game was on Sunday and Carolina was actually in serious contention, I think McCaffrey would be playing. But I think that the logic is that there's no point in pushing your running back who you just paid a massive extension when you don't really need to.
Yeah, you always have to weigh the future versus the present. And in reality, are the Falcons going to make much noise in the postseason or even make the postseason this year?
Falcons and the Panthers, they both have no.
I mean, the Panthers, rather, said the Falcons.
Panthers, of course, a better shot than Atlanta, but
they're almost interchangeable to me. But
that's fair.
Yeah, Atlanta's sitting 1-6, 3-4.
Tell you what, though, if NFL games are only 3 quarters, Atlanta might have one loss right now.
Oh my goodness, that team. That's such a heartbreaking team. I mean,
at some point, is it even heartbreaking anymore? I know that Atlanta's had a lot of difficult times with a lot of their sports, but it's got to be systematic at this point with the Falcons. I mean, I don't know how you bother.
You almost have to try to be that bad. They've had 3 games this season where they've had a 98% chance or higher of winning the game, and they've lost them all. Over the same period of time this year, Scott, there's been 4 other times that they've had a 98% chance and have lost. That's so yeah. There's 7 times it's happened this year. Atlanta's got 3 of them. Nice.
It's impressive. It's impressive stuff.
So what is that? 1/50 times 2,500. So what is that? 1 in, so that's like a 1 in 125,000. Is that right?
It's a mathematical anomaly that they've blown this many games lately.
Yeah, it's 1/50 times 1/50 times 1/50. So for those of you that do math, that's what it is. I think it's 1 in 125,000. So well done, guys. Well done indeed.
That's kind of going to take me to my thoughts on this game, just as a quick transition. I don't really have any faith in either team. Carolina, I actually really like the makeup of. I think Matt Rule is going to be a really good head coach, but this team doesn't have much talent, and I feel like everyone can tell when they were, being very, very heavily involved in the draft, that this team's probably going to take 2 or 3 years in order to actually become, I'd say, a potential wildcard team. I think that's a fair statement, 2 or 3 years. That sound about right?
No.
You think it'll be sooner?
I think that's low. Let me ask you a question here. Let's back up a minute. Do they need a quarterback, Scott, or is Teddy Bridgewater the guy?
I actually like Bridgewater. If you really think about the NFL, there are a lot of quarterbacks who have gotten paid huge contracts, and they were in no way deserving of those contracts.
Right.
I think Bridgewater actually got a decent team-friendly deal if you want to actually break him down in comparison to other quarterbacks. I don't think Bridgewater's a superstar. I think he's a mediocre quarterback who's not going to lose you many games. So from that perspective, I thought they actually got a decent deal on him. But they paid $15 million a year, $18 million a year.
Yeah, I think he's right in that range.
But that's really not that bad when you think about it in comparison to other contracts that have been given out.
Joe Flacco, anybody?
Well, Flacco was even from a couple of years ago. I'm thinking more recently of the Nick Foles ones, or you have the Derek Carr ones, or even the Jared Goff ones, which are restructured. Bridgewater's getting paid $21 million a year, which is really not that bad. I'm not saying that they're going to be able to attract a lot of free agents to Carolina, but at least they have some cap flexibility in the future, which should help them out.
Yeah, and he's having a decent season. His completion ratio is very high. His rate is very high, completing almost 3/4 of his passes.
I think he's a more athletic Alex Smith, which I think is fine.
And Alex Smith is actually surprisingly athletic. He would.
I know. You had the 49ers where they ran the quarterback sweep in that playoff game against the Saints. He's athletic. I'm just saying I think Bridgewater looks to run more than Alex Smith did.
Maybe a little bit. Bridgewater, the thing about it is he's not as much of a runner as you think.
No, but he can. He's been running a little bit more this year, but I don't know. I think he's just a somewhat athletic game manager, and I think that's fine long term. I just don't think this team is talented enough, especially defensively, which has struggled a lot in order to actually win 8 or 9 games. I'm thinking about a year, 2 years or so,
right?
When Brady probably retires and the Buccaneers go back to being terrible. Yeah, I think they'll probably be the second best team in the division. Well, Breeze and Brady are going to retire, so yeah, there might be some room for them in a couple years.
I think they've got an outside shot this year. I really do.
I think that they did until their defense has kind of completely imploded over the last couple of weeks.
It hasn't looked good. It hasn't looked good at all.
They cannot generate a pass rush to save their lives. I am a big fan of what they did in the draft, but as of right now, that Derek Brown's a very good player on the defensive line. They have nobody else who can pressure the quarterback. They got nothing. And I think losing Kuechly was also huge to the defense. So that also
that was absolutely huge.
But yeah, I think they're fine. It's just, I think Carolina is probably going to finish 6-10, 5-11, something like that.
Oh no, better than that.
That's just my opinion. I think they'll finish like 6-10.
Okay. All right. Well, I think they do.
I know they're 3-4 right now. I just think they're going to finish 6-10.
Okay. All right. Very good. So anything about Atlanta that you like other than their offensive power?
Well, it's actually going to be my lean for this matchup. I like Atlanta first half.
Okay.
Simply put, Atlanta is pretty good in the first 3 quarters of games, and they are awful, historically bad in the fourth quarter. And Atlanta, even though they ended up losing to Detroit, I actually liked how the defense played in that game for the majority. If you really think about it, they really did a pretty good job. They only gave up 23 points to Detroit, which means they gave up I don't remember if Detroit kicked the extra point or not, but no, they kicked the extra point, which means
because they had the penalty.
No, correct, but I'm saying they only gave up 16 points through the first 59 minutes of the game.
Right.
The week before that, they gave up 23 to Minnesota, but that was all garbage time. They pretty much shut them out in the first half at 3 picks. This defense actually played better than people might think that they have over the last couple of weeks.
They've given up 23 points 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, even the 23 against Minnesota and Detroit were kind of not genuine because Minnesota, they just ran prevent the entire second half and Cousins.
Yeah, they had the big lead there and just coasted.
Correct. So they probably could have held Minnesota to about 10, and Detroit had 16. They would have had 16 if Gurley falls down at the 1-yard line. So Atlanta's defense has actually not been that bad lately in comparison to Carolina's, which has been a disaster. I think that there's some value on Atlanta here, even though they are the ultimate choke artists. I'm going to go with the first half because I do think that Atlanta, they did lose the first meeting this season, but Julio Jones did not play, and that is a big boost to the offense. Defensively, they have been okay lately in comparison to Carolina. So for me, I'm going to lean to Atlanta first half. I think they'll probably keep this game close enough to at least be tied going into the break.
All right, I'm gonna go the other way.
Well, you can. I'm going first half, so you can do full game if you want to. I'm ignoring Atlanta for the whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take the Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers full game on that. They're a good team that they stay close. They were able to beat this Atlanta team a few weeks back by 7. And they're a team that figures out how to get it done, or at least how to stay within the range. They're 4-1 or 5-1 against the number. Falcons not good against the spread as well. I
don't have the first half numbers on that, but I got to assume Atlanta's probably decent in the first half. They always have leads and they always choke it.
Yeah, I would think so. The problem with the Falcons, they put up yards, they don't put up points. They really, really suck in the red zone, and I think that's a team that they play soft against them. Everybody plays bend but don't break. They let them get down to the red zone, and they just double up on Ridley and Jones.
Isn't that Matt Ryan's entire career just summed up into one stat? Because he has always been a terrible red zone quarterback.
Yeah, he has. And, part of it, and even the only time he was decent was when he had a good tight end, when he's had
Austin Hooper, he's not there anymore. And Hayden Hurst is okay, not great, but he's fine.
Right. They're not guys you can count on. Tony Gonzalez was a good red zone.
Of course. Yeah, well, he's an all-timer, but yeah.
I'm counting on this Falcons defense or this Panthers defense to be able to do the job in the red zone once again. Falcons, for whatever reason, for the 17th year in a row or whatever, they can't run the football, no matter who.
We both thought that Todd Gurley wouldn't work out. He has scored touchdowns. He just isn't averaging many yards per carry.
Yeah, you give him the ball 3 times from the 5-yard line, he's going to get one of them in the end zone. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's averaging 4 yards per carry, which is
It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. It's nothing special.
No.
Last 2 weeks, he has 43 carries for a combined 110 yards.
Yeah,
that is not good.
Less than 3 yards a carry.
That's less than that's about 2.5 yards per carry. I mean, that's a disaster.
That is decidedly no bueno at all. So That's the problem I have with his team is they are one-dimensional. Anytime you turn a team one-dimensional, it increases your odds of winning exponentially. So
I would normally agree with you, but I think the issue that I have, though, with Carolina is the fact that they are just so beyond – they just aren't good against the – they just can't pressure the quarterback. They are awful when it comes to pressuring the quarterback. And I know Matt Ryan is getting up there, and he's the opposite of mobile. He's immobile, if there is one. But if you don't get pressure in his face, he'll still pick you apart. I think that's a little bit concerning because I think you'll agree with me. Carolina has no pass rush at all.
Yeah, I do, and I don't. I think there's going to be plenty of yards for Matt Ryan between the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they kick too many field goals, and Carolina ends up winning this one.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, there you go. That is our final thoughts. I do have a premium play on the total. That's the one I like better. So if you're interested in picking that up, of course, check out my premium praise on. Premium praise. I'm starting a new church, Scott.
You're praising your premium plays.
On winnersandwiners.com. And, of course, while you're over at winnersandwiners.com, make sure you check out deep dives into every game every single day, but especially the NFL on Monday and Thursday. They do an extra deep dive, where they normally just go down like 200 feet, like the guys at free dive and stuff. They put on the actual big diver suits. That's how deep they go. They go all the way to the bottom. So make sure you check that out in spite of my tortured analogy. It is a very good site and a very good thing that they do there with the examination of all the games, but especially Monday and Thursday night. So, and please check out Scott and I doing our election show. We really had a lot of fun doing that yesterday. Yeah, it says it's 46 minutes, but you can click through it. There's stuff. So anyway, Scott, any final thoughts on this game?
No, hopefully it's entertaining. As for a total, I really don't have a thought because, as you put it, it depends on if Atlanta can actually get into the end zone or not.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a huge factor in the total. But I know the first game was very low scoring in a dome. I don't know if that's going to translate to an outdoor situation. But you have Julio Jones back. So, if you have a thought there, you can. I don't. but my only lean is Atlanta first half.
All right, very good. So that's our thoughts on this one. Make sure you check out our next video, which we're going to talk about the 2 college football games. And you think this NFL game was a barn burner? Wait till we get to the exciting college action tonight. All right. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you stopping by as always. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money. And we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.